There's that one fellow who streams, what's his name, iShow Speed or like that, and had a whole box of fireworks in his bedroom, stashed on his bed, and his bedroom wasn't exactly tidy.
Jinkies! We should prepare for some kind of tussle. Rough housing may be an occurrence.
Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day. Yes, indeed, the sun is shining, even here in the Pacific Northwest. It's not bright, there's cloud cover, it's gray, but it's warm, so yay. It is summer after all. Life is life. But hey, I slept last night. I got to bed a little late after midnight, but had almost a straight shot of sleeping until 5:30. I don't like getting up at 5:30 in the morning. If I could sleep longer, I would, but by the time it gets 5:30, I am desperate to get out of bed because I just hurt and I'm so uncomfortable by that time. Ugh. But at least I got to sleep a little bit, and with all 3 fans going in my room, and just a sheet on, I was able to get some sleep. Yay! Thumbs up for that. And of course, front loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be very awesome. If you could leave me a comment, very, very cool. And of course, I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons, these literally beautiful and literally awesome people that are, in fact, literally beautiful and literally awesome. Without these people's help, I and my pets would be hosed like literal Christmas monkeys. And trust me, being hosed like a Christmas monkey is not a good way to be hosed. So my thanks to each and every one of these people. And if you'd like to help me out and become a patron, links are in the video description. If you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, there's PayPal. And of course, if you'd like to help me out without sending money, there's an Amazon wish list with stuff like cat food on it. So thumbs up on that. And front loading of videos over. Yay! Now I got an itchy eyebrow. Thumbs up. Oh boy, I have been so time blind that this morning, out of desperation, yes, I took another Strattera and half of a guanfacine tablet, which is a blood pressure med that also helps with ADHD. If you have the active physical part of it, where you're jittery, having to move constantly instead of your brain going at 1,000 miles an hour. I don't have the physical part of it. I do have the mind going at 1,000 miles an hour part. So the guanfacine just affects my blood pressure, makes me a little sleepy. Strattera works at least on the time blindness, makes me a little sleepy. Cannabis on top of these makes the sleepiness of Strattera worse. And since cannabis can also just make you sleepy on its own, hopefully I'm not going to fall asleep today. I fell asleep a couple times yesterday. Not good. Ugh. But life is life. Life is life. And hey, one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I found out some information yesterday. I've talked before about how there is neural tissue, brain tissue, in your gut, in your digestive system. And it's true, because I had mentioned how the bacteria in your gut can affect how the foods you want to eat, because if you have a lot of the bacteria that like bad stuff, you're going to crave bad stuff. That's just, they're affecting, because of all of their various secretions, all of the neural tissue in your gut. Well, one of the other things that can happen, remember, there are meds if you need to sleep and such, or if you have an allergy, there's Benadryl. Benadryl is good for allergies, and it's an antihistamine. Antihistamines also make you sleepy. You have to be very careful when you're taking things like Benadryl because it can cause constipation. Now, why would this happen? Because things like Benadryl affect neural tissue. They slow down your neural tissue, which means it slows down your gut, which means you gotta start drinking extra water and being extra active, or things are just gonna get bound up and stuck inside of you. It's all how it affects the neural tissue, which your gut is full of. And also, I wanted to talk about this one because, as mentioned, I use cannabis for pain control. I smoke cannabis like a chimney, whether I am using just regular flower or if I am vaporizing some concentrate into my oil rig, or occasionally when I can afford it, edibles. This is my pain control. Without it, I would be in a wheelchair at the very best and likely bedbound. So that's not good. I require this stuff just to live. Now, I watched a video where this one person was reacting to a tweet from a person who was a clown. They were into a purposeful clown. They became the target du jour on Twitter for being an idiot, talking about how nobody speaks of the health crisis in California now that cannabis is legal, how there are people who are scromiting, screaming and vomiting, and it lasts for weeks, and there's no treatment. Why isn't anyone talking about this? Well, number one, that was clickbait, and they were just being the clown du jour. And while scromiting is a funny word, screaming and vomiting for weeks at a time, no, that doesn't happen. Now, though, as having said that, there are people that say cannabis itself, you cannot die of a cannabis overdose. That's partly true. You can have bad things happen. If you are a massive cannabis user and you smoke or ingest a lot of cannabis, you can overwhelm your neural tissue. You can have too much. Now, our brains are good at a lot of things, but not so good at others. 30% of the human population, we do not know how to read thirst. Our bodies do not properly read thirst, and it presents this information to our brain as saying, you're hungry. Not that you're thirsty and you should be drinking, but that you should be eating solid food, which is not right. So our brains are not really good at interpreting a lot of stuff that way. Because there are endocannabinoid receptors in your brain, which also means there are receptors in your neural tissue. Guess what? You have cannabinoid receptors all through your gut. Now, if you do take too much over a great period of time, if you are a chronic smoker or user and you take a lot constantly, you can feel sick and feel really ill and really bad. That is because your brain is not that good at telling you, oh, you need to stop. Your gut, on the other hand, all the neural tissue down there is on the job, and it's telling you, you've taken too much. You need to hold back for a while. We're starting to suffer from poisoning. Because you can. And you get ill. You feel ill, sick, bad, not good at all. And if you keep smoking, you will get to the point where these physical sensations you are having can only be relieved by taking very, very hot showers. And some people have had to go to the emergency room because they've been scalded by hot water trying to relieve the feelings. But you can also have the sudden thing where you will just suddenly vomit for no reason. Well, there's a reason, but you're just going, hey, did you know? And it's just that fast, that sudden. If you continue to use at that point, you can set yourself up because people have died from this. Now, technically, it is kind of a cannabis overdose. You have forced your body into a state where you are vomiting almost constantly. The cannabis itself does not kill you. But they have found people who continued to use, even as they began vomiting constantly, and then they died of dehydration and more. Because vomiting is bad for even your heart and all of your throat systems. You can erode the skin of your throat on the inside to the point that it will expose and pierce your arteries, and then you bleed out. Vomiting is not good. You don't want to do a lot of it. So yes, you can overdose to death on cannabis. You got to listen to your body. Now, it's again, for every single person who has this, they did studies, and if they just stop for a while, symptoms go away. They just stop. They found that, if you push through it and continue, yeah, you're going to reach the point where you're just involuntary vomiting. And at that point, yeah, it is a thing that can kill you, but you have to work hard to make yourself die from this. So just be smart and listen to your body. Oy vey. Past that, though, let me see what else I have on my list. I mentioned how I've taken the Strattera and stuff because of my time blindness and more. One thing I wanted to mention, just because, only because everyone else in the world has been doing it, there's that one fellow who streams, what's his name, iShowSpeed or like that, and had a whole box of fireworks in his bedroom stashed on his bed, and his bedroom wasn't exactly tidy, and the bed was very flammable looking, and the box of fireworks, and he sets off this gigantic flaming thing in his bedroom, freaks out when it goes off, and that whole room could have gone down, and the house would have gone down, and people might have died. It was the most insane thing I've seen. Please don't be like this person. Unfortunately, he has been rewarded positively for this extremely negative stuff. He does whatever his audience wants, and he's been rewarded for almost burning his house down. And hopefully this Thursday or Friday or Monday or Tuesday is the word we've gotten from our rental people about when they're going to be replacing the bathtub on the second floor of my housemate's portion of the living arrangements up here. So it's still a mess. It's still insane. We're still, I mean, that's nice that it's narrowed down to this 6-day area, you know, Thursday or Friday or Monday or Tuesday with the weekend in between. But at least that's better than just not knowing anything. Joy on that. Now, on a creative front, taking a look at my list to see if there's absolutely anything else on there, I have been trying to do my best. Unfortunately, because I have not been taking any ADHD meds, and I have fallen down low enough with anything in my system, I find it much, much, much more difficult to remember things. Such is life. But while I was out on walkies last night, I was thinking more about the cryptid portion of the setting that I have, the whole inside-outside razor's edge. It's all the same setting, but they are just so wildly different in their focus. It's like I should focus on just one portion of it and then do that. But because I spent a lot of time thinking about my cryptids last night, the whole situation, how it works, who's got what, and the cryptid programming that cryptids have, if you express your genes, is one of the most horrific portions of the whole cryptid stuff that for me it is horrific, because the cryptid programming falls into place on top of your personality, and you get buried underneath the programming. You're still there. You still have your wishes, needs, wants, desires, but it's the cryptid stuff that comes first. And just how horrific that is. As I have mentioned, one of the characters that I really like, who knows that her time is limited. She is Rayla, the Crow Witch, who harvests femurs for her crown of femurs. She knows her time is limited. She lives in the forests, and the forests are getting smaller all the time. There's lesser and lesser. People invade more and more. Her domain gets smaller and smaller. She knows there's only a limited amount of time before her world is just gone. But she's been around for over 1,000 years. And occasionally you can see the woman inside. I've mentioned before just on Rayla herself, because one of the horrible things that had to happen, didn't have to, but she expressed into her cryptid form when she was going to meet her lover and the person she wanted to spend the rest of her life with, and instead ended up harvesting her femurs. Harvesting femurs, of course, Rayla can hear femurs And in everybody, they sing of their song of oppression, of darkness, being trapped in their prisons of meat, and how much better things would be if they were just free. And so she frees them. It's terminal for those who own the femurs, but they're free. And yeah, she had to harvest her lover and the person she wanted to spend her life with. And even now, 1,000 years later, yeah, you can see through the cracks the woman trapped inside, who's still grieving and mourning and screaming and beating her bloodied fists against the stone walls of her cryptid prison. But she's stuck and trapped. It's Rayla the Crow Witch that expresses and travels the world. It's gotten so quiet outside all of a sudden. It was very loud for a long time with emergency vehicles and such that I got used to the noise, and now that it's stopped, it feels so weird. I will talk more about my creative stuff and such because I've been thinking more on the Department of Government Resources and all sorts of different cryptids and cryptid stuff, which is all still just a part of the setting of the inside-outside Razor's Edge, because the cryptid energy pours out of these one-way gates. So, thumbs up. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended, and even though I count American Sign Language, well. Oh, and by the by, I finally got some dry erase markers, the cheapest ones I can find, because that's all I can really afford, and yay, I'm redoing the board again periodically, so thumbs up. We have Jesse Koskinen. Thankfully, my pets did survive, and I don't know what happened to the rest of the world and everyone else's pets, but oy vey, my kitty cat was not happy at all. We have Faithor, Feythoor, thumbs up and thank you very, very much. Jay. I had to work on it and then remember that monologue. I really love my cryptid setting because it's so tragic for these poor, poor people. It's just these poor people. We have Sean Dunn, thumbs up and thank you. Yamil, greatly appreciated. And yeah, I love the early Elder Scrolls games. They're primitive, but they have that spark. Loco 5, thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. It is good to see you in the comments. And I wish to get the game one day, Disco Elysium. I just can't afford it right now. It's either food and pain medication or games, and I choose food and pain medication. Ben B, thumbs up and thank you very, very much. And J Vig, thumbs up and thank you. And 8 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Greatly appreciated. Get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only for a short time, and if only in text. I can speak English, I promise. Well, hopefully I'm going to get some phone calls done today. I have done some things. I mean, I paid my rent yesterday and such, so thumbs up on that. Just hopefully I can get these calls done. But if not, I'm not going to kill myself or harm myself in any fashion. I'm going to have to go and edit that so that I don't get in trouble. Oh boy. So, do what you have to do. Just don't worry about it. If you have to go into survival mode to live through another day, then you have to go through survival mode to live another day. And with the Covfefe bug still going around, less dangerous, but still killing, please take appropriate precautions. Just be smart for your situation and your area. And it's always smart to get vaxxed, and it's always smart to get boosted. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and I quite frankly think that is a very good idea.